all right. Peace and blessings, Safo. Honorable One, the Success Scholar, Akisha Kwame here. Thank you all for tuning in, listening in. Man, I'm going to do this piece here. You know, it's really interesting as I was listening to a broadcast yesterday where some individuals were speaking on independent school and educating our black children. Now, I don't necessarily just quote my per se how many books I've read, but yes, I have read 100 books a year for 11 years, and I didn't necessarily just stop reading. I continue to read some unique, very, very unique, some very unique books on education, business, community, history. So I'll be in a good position to teach the young people, to teach our youth what is necessary, what is a priority. And I've experienced, and I've been around, both in between DC and Baltimore in several education environments, and I've listened to many different advocates. Read a lot of Kunjufu books, and had some conversations with several esteemed educators, and read many of the relevant books on education. So when I see or hear individuals talking about creating a school, I'm first and foremost, I'm listening to observe, have these individuals actually been taught the right, knowledge? Have they connected first and foremost to the independent school movement, for instance, CB? Now, several years ago, as I, had the opportunity to observe firsthand an independent African-centered school in the DC area, I was, observing to look at the pros, cons, weaknesses, and, not just that, but, there were some schools in the Baltimore area, and I actually had the curriculum for that school, the independent school in the Baltimore area. I'm not sure what happened to it, but it was very good. But I'm afraid that many individuals, who are not necessarily who are not confident in their skills as parents, are still handling off their children to individuals, and not taking a personal actionable role and responsibility for the nurturing, for the protection, for the rearing and raising up of their children, right? And so now what you have is some Hotep AfroCentric hustlers that talking, they're gonna create schools in different places, and and you got people more so dependent upon somebody outside of yourself to give your children something that you're going to have to eventually learn yourself. Now, I realize that many people are on different levels academically, economically speaking, and not everybody will take, like for me, I took personal responsibility to know that, in this society, we cannot create children in this world, first and foremost, with a male or a female that's not conscious, that's not holistic, that's not aware of the destructive habits and forces that are out here. So when you have individuals who have children before they actually are able to functionally raise these children, and these children eventually will turn into predators, because there's no way, there's no community, there's no industry, there's no institutions. So you have a situation where the children, for instance, that go through these AfroCentric schools, and I've seen it. I've seen children with their long locks have to cut off their hair and go into some job in corporate America after they go to a HBCU and become assimilated. There's no opportunities for them. So I'm just, a little perplexed in terms of the consciousness and skill development and the well-roundedness of many of these teachers, first and foremost. And I appreciate, for instance, the school here in DC, Ujamaa, that teaches a healthy, holistic, vegan diet. That's what they do for the young people there. So that's a plus, of course. So I have not heard some of these educators out here mention that, and they still feeding children bologna and cheese and hot dog sandwiches. So that's a questionable attribute. But children learn from observation, right? And if, for instance, you have communities of individuals that are still stuck in Eurocentrism, or they still are practicing various levels of subtle suicide, there's not going to be much true education that comes. It's just a patchwork. And so I've been able to observe, over the years, these different communities, and position myself as one of the only ones who really has a broad analysis of what it truly takes, to build community and to build an institution that can create some success scholars, right? That's what I'm saying. So what you have, for instance, how can a so-called teacher sit up here and tell you it doesn't matter what people eat? So you got that on one hand, and then on the other hand, for instance, you have teachers that are allowing for individuals who have a little poor character. Some of these folks, they have criminal records, right? Guns and drugs. Who would send their children to someone that had some weed charges or gun charges, right? So you gotta look at these people's backgrounds, or get accused of fighting and beating up people in the community. As adults, you building a school with somebody like that? Really? No, they need to be in some damn healing. They're not going to be able to teach children functionally, right? And so you have people, for instance, these Hotep AfroCentric hustlers with they won't give me the shine. They won't call me in for my expertise, right? But they'll have some people that affiliate with criminals, and individuals that are not holistic, just because they don't want to, they don't want to see me shine, right? You would do that to your black children, huh? Your African children. You will deprive them of freedom. You will deprive them of consciousness, huh? Just because you dislike, or you just don't want to see the rise of the success scholar. So many of these folks, these different groups, and even some of these economic community groups, they're blocking you. They're blocking our people from getting to another level. In DC, I just left DC, as well as Baltimore. They're keeping our people in bondage, by keeping them deprived of the knowledge, the well-roundedness of the success scholar. So I'm not, so for those that are wise enough to listen in, I'm saying today that character matters. Your subalternity, it matters. So I'm saying that, you got to look at people's character, man. Look at these people that's building, talking about these AfroCentric schools, or I'm going to build a school. Huh? And you need to support the Success Scholar movement, right? You need to support, someone that has a track record of decency, right? Of sophistication, and not no criminal record as an adult. People running around, you 30, 40 years old, being angry and upset, talking about fighting people. And so what I'm saying is, what we need, we just don't need a bunch of rhetoric. We don't need individuals that want to, who may have an alphabet behind their name. You got a school, for instance, the Marcus Garvey Academy in LA. I'm not sure if it's still open, but Dr. Palmer, I read his book some years ago, but they didn't allow people that had degrees to work there. That's an interesting dynamic. I'm not, and like I said, I'm not, I'm being objective. I'm very clear. Because again, there is the miseducation of the Negro, but then you have people who might have gone to jail or might have picked up a few books, and they don't have that balance. They don't have the business balance, like the industry. What are you training our young people towards? They don't have the knowledge of self. You can tell by their diets and how they talk about food. Your temple, your body is a temple. You gotta love what you put in. So you got people, and you gotta love yourself enough to not just what you eat, but where you go. You know, like you can't put a poison, toxic club environment. You know, you can't have people with a thug mentality, angry, yelling, MFer, or, you know, but I'm going to educate your children. I mean, and they ain't teaching no, like, the Panthers, or, you know, they not, like, for real, they're not teaching the young people no true consciousness, because many of these people, they haven't even invested in the libraries. Support the bookstores. They are institutions. They are schools. I always support these different school bookstores, black bookstores. They haven't even supported them. So I'm just wondering, like, how you gonna keep talking about building a school or building another school with some people that don't have righteous character. So I'm saying, stay connected to the Rise of the Success Scholar. We're on the move, on another level, making progress. So holla at the Success Scholar. I'm out. Peace.